Nikola Jokic has been on a ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous, run so far here in December. He's coming off of a 48 point, 14 rebound, and 8 assist game against the Hawks. If we look at his December performance, 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists in one game, 38 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists in another game, 27 points, 20 rebounds, and 11 assists in another game. Then just last night, 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 8 assists. Follows that up tonight with that 48 point, 14 rebound, and 8 assist game. His average through December, 39 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists. Absolutely unbelievable. And if you look at his regular season production as a whole, even more ridiculous when you're taking a look at it. 31 points, which is the most points he's averaged so far in his career. This is the first time where Nikola Jokic has crossed that 30 point per game territory. 56% from the floor. 50% of his three-pointers are going down, along with 14 rebounds. It's 13.6, I'm rounding up, and 10.3 assists. I don't know if we all notice it. I don't know if we're all realizing it, but this is the best version of Nikola Jokic that we have seen. And this guy has already won 3 league MVP awards at this point in his career. Without a doubt, he's been the leading candidate for the MVP award this season. So Nikola Jokic is en route to having 4 league MVPs. That's as many as LeBron James. If that ends up happening, that's more than Stephen Curry. That's more than Kobe, which is still very controversial. That's a ridiculous amount of MVP awards, and he's quietly won them, right? Like, I feel like Jokic has won these MVP awards, and they kind of snuck up on people. Then you take a step back and realize, man, this guy's won that award a lot, and each and every one of them he's deserved. Like, there may be seasons where you feel like you wanted another guy to win it over him, but if you look at his production for most of the time he's won the awards, not most of the time, every time he's won these awards, it's all justified, right? Like, it all makes sense. There has been a legitimate reason and argument for Nikola Jokic to win all the MVPs he has so far. And right now he has the singular best argument to win that award this particular season. Now, I know the Nuggets have not been the Nuggets that we expected them to be. Really, I don't know what a lot of people's expectations were about this team coming into the season. A lot of people were torn. I myself was not a fan of how the front office kind of let certain guys just walk, like letting Bruce Brown walk after that championship season was a major dent in their roster. Letting KCP walk in the offseason to go over to Orlando was a massive loss because I think he's just one of the 5 best 3-and-D players in the entire league. Front office has just not done an amazing job, and some of that ugly stuff has been showing so far this season. Now, there have been some bright spots, but there have also been some bad spots. Losing to the Washington Wizards last night was a bad spot. So this is not the season that Denver wanted to have. I myself have been very disappointed in their follow-up to that championship in 2022. And they're kind of adding to this list of teams that'll win a championship and just never get back to that championship level. You could talk about the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021. They win it, and they were never able to return to that level. The Warriors in 2022, they won it, and they weren't able to return to that level. Now, they could be getting back there this season. I'm not 100% sure, but their follow-up to winning in 2022 has not been great. There were just some ugly years. So the Nuggets have fallen victim to that, winning a championship in 2023 and just not being able to follow up. Right. So that's the thing about the team argument with Jokic right now. I think they're sitting at the 8th spot in the Western Conference. They have not been spectacular as a team. But like I said, just from an individual standpoint, the things he has been doing, absolutely off the chain. And the on-off numbers with him, they're even more ridiculous. I never want to make the game of basketball about somebody, quote unquote, carrying a team, right? Like, those types of discussions are really counterproductive. It contradicts what basketball is about as a sport because basketball is a 5-on-5 game. Nobody's game should be judged based on them carrying a team because that's just not a successful blueprint for winning, which is the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal isn't to have a guy average 35 points per game. That's not the ultimate goal for a team. The team wants to win. So it's not effective for someone to carry a team. So I don't like falling into those discussions, but sometimes it does get pretty impressive seeing how impactful one guy is to his entire team. And that's the case here with Nikola Jokic. The on-off numbers are staggering, right? When he's off the court, they are a significantly worse team than when he's on the court. Now, that's how it is for most players who are star level players or superstar level players. Their team is going to be better with them on the floor. But out of all of those guys, Jokic seems, if you look at the numbers, Jokic seems to have a much bigger impact on his team when he's out there on the court compared to a lot of other superstar level players. And that's not downplaying them, but the discrepancy between the on-off numbers with him and a couple of other guys is pretty large. And that also feeds into that MVP conversation, right? And why I think he's back at the top in that particular debate. And obviously, a big talking point in conversation about this season has been the ratings, right? Ratings from the NBA have been struggling, declining. NBA Finals ratings last year were bad. Ratings this particular season have been bad. There are a million reasons as to why ratings have been bad overall across the board. But one thing I will say, and the upside for the NBA is this: the talent level in the NBA, it's there, right? Like, it's not like the NBA is at a lack of great players. You got guys like Jokic doing the things that he's doing on a night in and night out basis. You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's a demigod, essentially playing at his peak level as well. So I talk about Jokic playing the best basketball of his career. Giannis is too. We've got Victor Wembanyama playing better than what he did in his rookie season. Anthony Edwards continuously getting better. The talent is there, right? Like, the NBA is not at a lack of talent and not at a lack of great players. They're there. Right. And so a lot of the conversations about the ratings being bad and the league being in a bad place, that kind of comes with us ignoring what's good here, right? And what there is to appreciate. So, yes, there are points of improvement for the NBA, massive points of improvement. Like, I knew the NBA had problems when I figured out Beyonce, well, now may or may not be doing the halftime show on Christmas. Like, I knew that was going to be an issue. NFL really just kind of came in and snagged that from him. And I knew that was going to be a massive problem. So I'm not saying the NBA is without their issues from a rating standpoint, but don't let that conversation make you forget that there are still amazing players doing amazing things in the league today. I say this all the time across the channel. Our focus on the negatives makes us totally ignore the positives. And there are some really good things happening right now with the game. So we can talk about the issue with the quality of the games, streaming services, whatever you think the reason is for the ratings being down. We can have conversations about that. But we're looking at the production of guys like Jokic and Giannis and players like that, particularly Jokic, who's just doing otherworldly stuff from the big man position, stuff that you wouldn't even think of 20 years ago. We look at that, we have to appreciate that as well, right? So a lot of the focus on the negativity, I get it. There are points of improvement for the league. Of course, the NBA and their higher ups, they're looking at ways to improve the product, but there are still some great things here to watch and pay attention to. And Jokic, to me, has been one of those great things. Seeing him do these things at the big man position, as I said, 20 years ago, unimaginable. Really, when I started watching basketball back in 2013, I didn't think the idea of a Nikola Jokic could end up being an actual thing, right? Like, I never thought that would actually come to fruition, right? Like, it was crazy seeing a stretch five. It was crazy seeing Dwight Howard take threes. Now we've got a big man averaging a triple-double, knocking down 50% of his three-point shots, and he's the best passer in the NBA. So we could talk all about how the NBA needs to improve its marketing and needs to improve its product, but for the basketball purists and the basketball fans, the talent is here, right? The best player in the NBA is doing things that we just simply have not seen before. So let's appreciate that. While we can critique the league and where it's at, let's also appreciate the performances from certain guys. And Jokic really has been one of the more impressive out of anybody right now in the league. He's always available. He's consistent. You never have an issue with Jokic's consistency. You're never going to have a stretch of bad games for Nikola Jokic, really, because it's tough to define what a bad game is for him. Because Jokic can be the best guy on the court with 15 points. But you know he's going to also find 15 assists in that game, and he's also going to pull down about 10, 11 rebounds in that game. So what is a bad Nikola Jokic game? Right? Like, let's think about that as well. Jokic is one of those dudes where it's tough to determine what a bad game looks like from him. Dyson Daniels said it himself. He literally does everything at a high level. It's tough to find a weakness in his game. Said that after this game. So amazing stuff here from Jokic. Like I said, I understand the conversations and the critiques we may have for the NBA, but there is still some stuff to appreciate. And Nikola Jokic simply is one of those guys we should be thankful for as basketball fans, basketball purists. Hopefully the NBA gets back to a level and gets back to that level that they want to be at and that they're projecting themselves to be at. But all in all, love what we're seeing here from Jokic. Amazing stuff. And I think he is making yet another compelling and really overwhelming case for his fourth league MVP award.